So how to spot any weakness of yours or of other people? There exists a certain pattern that can help you uncover what exists underneath the external expressions of people. By the end of this video, you will be able to decode what it means if, let's say, someone gets maybe conditional tiredness. That means anytime he should, for example, begin his work, he gets tired. You will understand what it means when someone takes on these forced relaxation poses. For example, there is a tough conversation and someone takes on this pose. You will be able to understand what it means if someone has very domineering behavior, or what it means if there is someone who by himself has healthy self-esteem, but among people his self-esteem drops. Or you will be able to tell if, for example, you feel a creativity block. What causes this creativity block? Stay tuned. It's fairly simple. The beginning is to understand this concept. So the presumption is that we all have some kind of default state that is aligned, that is healthy, that is the initial state for anything we want to do in life. But sometimes there are some deviations. Okay, so we can imagine as there is this default state, and if there is a unhealthy deviation from that default state that is defaultly healthy, it gets projected as some external behavior that we can analyze. An example. Let's say someone is not able to relax during the work. This is the deviation from the default state. The default state is that even though you work, you can be relaxed. Or even though you work, you are able to, after the work, somehow regenerate, unwind a little. But there are people who struggle with regeneration, who struggle with relaxing after work. And so they are always in this fight mode. They're always aware, stressed. This is the deviation. And it gets projected to the external world as, for example, this tiredness, this conditional tiredness, that anytime before that person should start working, his body tells him, stop, relax, you gotta be relaxed, this is not helping you. This is a very common thing among people these days, I think. They are unable to relax, yet they always feel tired before the work and during the work. The remedy would be to relax, and even though you work hard, don't stress over the work. Work hard in a relaxed state. That would be for this specific example. But I outlined more examples, so let's analyze these. And how can we use this framework of default state, deviation from a default state, and a projection into external world? So let's analyze the situations that I outlined. For example, if someone takes on these relaxation poses, yet they are in very stressful situation, what it means is something very similar to the conditional tiredness. It means that that person should be relaxed as a default state, but he gets too agitated, too stressed in the situation, and so he compensates the stress. His body compensates the stress by taking on these relaxation poses, because your body wants you to get aligned into this default state. And the way it does this is that it compensates the deviation. It tries to force the relaxation upon you by taking this pose that naturally makes you relax a little. Obviously, this is not the only use case for this framework. Let's say there is some person that, when among people, smiles 90% of the time, and you can feel it's not really authentic smile. What's going on? How to think about this? So the compensation is smiling among people. His body tries to make that person smile. So it compensates something that is totally not smiling. So for example, a lot of times this might be that that person is scared, feels in danger, feels serious, like totally not smiling. And that's the deviation from the default state. The default state should be, even among people I feel relaxed, I feel safe, nothing bad is going on. But let's say if you have some kind of social anxiety, you feel anxious among people, you feel in danger when you're with people, and if that's a chronic condition, it might get projected as a compensation, as a coping mechanism, into exuding this forceful smile behavior. Another interesting example, kind of similar to the previous one, would be if there is someone who has a healthy self-esteem, but among people, his self-esteem drops significantly. What's going on? Okay, so let's analyze this. That person has low self-esteem, that's the compensation. So he's compensating from maybe too high of a self-esteem when he's among people. So that person has certain set of beliefs that when they interact with people, it feels to him, to his heart and to his body, that he has too high of a self-esteem. So he decreases his body, his natural response decreases his self-esteem. And these beliefs might be, for example, that that person believes that he is much better than the other people. Or that he should have the power over these people. So let me repeat it backwards. That person believes that he's better than other people. He believes that he should control other people. That's his belief. But when he encounters real people, when he's among people, his natural response, his default state knows that this is not the healthy way to interact with people. So his self-esteem decreases to compensate for these beliefs. Okay? The beliefs might be, there might be a spectrum of such beliefs, and there might be a spectrum why this happens, that someone has lower self-esteem. It's all the time, it's very much dependent on the very specific condition of that person, of that situation. So don't take anything I say here as this is the only option, the only possibility. It's not. It's always context dependent. I'm just showing you how to think about these things. I get two more examples. If there is someone who exudes domineering vibes, why is that? It's kind of similar to the lower self-esteem vibes, but it's opposite. So for example, it's again a compensation. So that person is more domineering among people. That means that he tries to compensate for some belief or feeling that he has, for example, not enough power. So if that person believes, for repetition again, if that person believes that he does not have enough power, maybe to help other people, oftentimes, it gets compensated as a domineering behavior. Because he believes that he needs to be more powerful, he needs to have more control in order to achieve his goals, which might be to help other people, but it also might be to manipulate them. So I don't want to dive deeper into the real cause behind this, because again, it's very much context dependent. It's just that there is this pattern here to see. And a last example is creativity. I got another video on a creativity block, and it goes deeper. It's kind of short video, 3 minutes, but it goes deeper into my own creativity block. And this creativity block can be the example of exactly this. I actually discovered the root cause of this creativity block using this framework that I'm explaining to you. So my creativity was blocked for a very long time, for months. And I didn't know why. I tried creativity exercises, creativity meditation. It didn't work. So obviously there was something blocking me from reaching the creativity. So I was thinking, what is creativity itself? It's seeing possibilities. So for some reason, my body does not want me to see possibilities as a compensation. So what am I compensating? I'm compensating, I realized that I'm compensating for the fact that I see too many possibilities. And why do I feel that I see too many possibilities in life? Because I don't feel enough stability in my life. That was another compensation. And this was a huge realization. So I'm not creative as a compensation to the fact that I feel that I see too many possibilities. And the feeling that I see too many possibilities was a compensation of me not feeling stable enough in life. So the remedy was to start to feel stable using, different techniques. And that in turn improved the sense or improved the feeling around my possibilities. And suddenly I stopped feeling like I see too many possibilities. And in turn, that opened the way for my creativity. So as you can see, this framework works for a lot of things. Anytime you see something inauthentic in another person, anytime you see something forced, anytime you see something that that person doesn't want to feel or go through, yet that person goes through it or feels it or exudes it, this framework might be very helpful for you to spot what's actually going on. And as I said in the beginning, this might be helpful for spotting weaknesses in other people and helping them. Or it might be also useful for your own weaknesses. If you spot something about your behavior, about your blocks, about your compensations, think about what are you compensating? What is the deviation from that default healthy state? So if you like this video, click subscribe, because you probably won't see a recommendation for my channel anytime soon, as this channel is just starting. So if you want to see my videos, hit subscribe, and I will see you in another one.